Hi, this is Michael Green, Dodgy on the Lightwave forums, and I'm just going to show you a quick tutorial on how to use IK booster with Motion Mixer to get the character walking along in a straight line. Now, I like to use Motion Mixer to make my walk cycles, and I do that in one spot. So if I want to just show you this. Let's turn the weight curve off a second. Now, you can see here the Motion Mixer animation starts there at frame 2. And what we have is walking on the spot like that. And in Motion Mixer, we've got the walk cycle, which starts at frame 2 and ends at frame 26, and then goes on a repeat pattern after that. And you can sort of change that to whatever you want, reset, constant, whatever. But repeat is for, best for a walk cycle. So you get your original walk cycle here, and then it's switched to a repeat. If we have a look at how this is actually done, what I've got is I've got a circle, which is a null, with a item shape on it in the custom object of a ring, and I've got a heel pyramid. So that's basically the IK goal of my foot burn, which is just there, and you can see it pointing out there. And then you've got this, which is its parent, and this is what we're going to use with IK boost. We're going to use the bind function to make it walk along in a straight line. The bind function basically will hold an object, like a child object of a hierarchy, in its same position for as long as there's a bake zone on it. So if we go into IK boost, you can see on the timeline here I've got 2 bake zones, which are from the middle of the walk, where the feet are crossing over, up to the point at which this is sort of at the back and just about to come off into the air. So it's on the ground, it's just coming into the air there, and then you've got where it's come back onto the ground and back to its original position. Okay, so that's the 2 bake zones for that foot. If you go to the other foot, you can see there's a bake zone which starts on the last frame of the other bake zone and ends at the first frame of this foot's bake zone. So basically you have kind of bake zones overlapping from each foot. Now you can set up a bake zone just by dragging in the timeline with the right mouse button and going set bake spot, which is down here, and that brings up a little request that asks you the start and end, and then that puts it there. Okay, you can adjust those bake spots just by clicking and dragging on the corner triangles, so you can easily adjust where they are. But we're just going to remove that bake spot because these are the 2 important ones that we want to use, as you see. So that one works from, as I say, from the middle of the step to the back of the step, and then from the front of the step to the middle of the step, where this ring controller is on the ground. Now that's important because if it moves up or down from this point here, at this point here, then then the character will start walking up into the air or down into the ground. So that's why I use the toe, which is basically under the toe position there, rather than this heel sort of controller, because if you look, as this goes back towards the back of the step, this one goes up in the air. So if we'd use that, he'd start to sort of push up into the air as he was walking. Actually no, he'd push down into the ground. So his feet, this one, would basically stay where it was horizontally, pinned by the bind function, and would go, and so the rest of the whole mesh would go down, the rest of the hierarchy would go down to match it. Whereas if we're using this thing, because it stays in the same spot vertically all the way through its bake zones, the character will just stay flat walking, which is what you want. So how do we start doing this? Well, my character is starting off just in that flat 2 feet down position. So if I bring up this, I use a weight curve, which you can just go to sort of add weight curve to add. If you look at that, what it is a point which is a 0 value, so there's no walk cycle applied, to a full walk cycle applied where the value is 1. So with that on, he starts off with both feet together and starts to take a little step, and then gets into the flow and starts walking properly. So that's how that works. So you've got your stationary point, and then the walk cycle fades in over these set frames. And because the walk cycle it lasts over this amount of frames, when I do what I'm going to do next, it will sort of use the walk cycle's positions for the bind motion. Okay, so that was the kind of theory behind it. Let's just have a look, see what we're going to do. So we've grabbed the parent, which is HDL, and we're going to use the child option for IK boost. So this will basically operate on this and all its children, which are in fact all the controllers. What I want to do is place the time cursor at just after the first bake zone ending. So if I click on this here, you can just see this is where the bake zones are. Go to 1 second and 1 frame, and I'll select the parent again, and I'm going to right click and drag so that I've got that much of the timeline selected. Go to copy keys, and it's got a paste motion key dialog bring up. So I went a little bit over. I wanted to start at 2, which is where the motion mixer file starts, motion mixer clip starts, and ends at 25, which is where the loop ends, as it were. And I want it to paste at frame 26. Okay, and now I want to do that for the children. So I'll go OK. Now if I click on this bottom one, you can see what it's done is it's copied the bake zones from here to here to here to here, and from here to here to here to here, and similarly for this one. So now we've got the bake zones being copied across. Similarly, I'm just going to select that one again, move to the end of that bake zone, 1 frame on, and click and select the parent again, drag and select. Oh no, not that one, we want to select all that. So from there to there, copy keys, so we start at 2, end at frame 49, and paste at key 50. Okay, so Now we've got your bake zone set up for that 100 frames on both feet. Very straightforward. And then finally, I'll select the parent again, go IK boost, down to commands, and just off the screen there, it's bind motion all. Now bind motion basically puts keys on the parent so that anything that's got a bake zone on it, which in this case has the foot, will stay stationary at that point. So you can see now the character is walking off into the distance. So what you've got is keys just on that parent null to make it walk, and you can use that anywhere you've got your motion mixer clips. So rather than baking everything into the actual nulls themselves, you've just got this one null which has the motion on it, and that becomes a lot more manageable than when you perhaps use usually sort of IK boost and bake zones. So you've just got that one which has got the walk motion on it, and that's about it really. It's very useful because you haven't got hundreds of keys on your goals and things. You can see here you've just still got the bake motion zones, and you've got bake motion zones on this, and if you want to you can remove those or whatever, but it just means that all your animation that you're faffing with is on your motion mixer clip, and not sort of controlled by any keyframes on the timeline if you want to. I mean, that's so you can see there that IK boost works very well with motion mixer and IK, and you don't have to just use IK boost on the IK boost system. You can use it on a hybrid system that has motion mixer applied to it. So I hope you find that useful, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Goodbye.